Sorry, guys. I'm trying to set up things. Apparently, it's working. Go live. Apparently, I'm live streaming somewhere on IG. So if you guys can see me, let me know on IG. I'm gonna open up my IG and see if I'm live. Oh, I am live. Whoa. All right, I'm live on IG as well. All right, guys, let's get started. Let's get started. Um, all right, welcome to my live today, guys. Today is July 16th, 2026. I don't know why my computer's doing that, but it is. So you have to bear with that. I think all my wires are way too close to each other. Gotta separate them somehow, but not doing that right now. So we're gonna have to bear with that. Um, welcome to my live. You know what I mean? Today is uh July 16, 2026. You're here today with uh Ren on Daily Trades by Ren. Um, let's see. I'm not sure how you see me live, but apparently, um, I don't know if you can see on IG. You might not be able to see my whole screen. It seems like it's chopped off, but it's the best we can do, guys. It's the best we can do. Um, okay, let's go ahead and get on with the trade. I did a few trades today. I did do a few trades today. I did a whole lot of trades today. You see there, I'm down. I'm down. I am down 3%. I actually took it all the way up to like 31%. I was up like almost $50, like $48. And then I ended up with like there goes the market ended today. Then I ended up with $7 at the end right here, right? So what happened was, let's see. Okay, so what's going on here today is okay, what I'm trying to do anyways is I did gotta get into a contract, right? And I got into a contract for it to crash tomorrow all the way down to 7:45. Okay, so I'm trying something new. What I'm trying is whether or not I can swing towards a a place where I want to be, um, and then get my gains early on tomorrow morning. And the reason why, because I got a theory behind it, right? My theory behind it is this, and then I did my quote unquote investigation. I don't know if my investigation does any good, but you know, you have to make predictions, right? So you have to look at your you have to look at your details, right? Detail matters. So today we have a bunch of headlines, right? Everything's going on geopolitical, a lot of reports on jobs, a lot of reports on a whole lot of other things, right? But we're just gonna well, I like to associate it with, things that's going on in the political realm, as far as, foreign affairs and stuff, right? Because the market kind of reflects off other markets, right? So, they always talking about the London time frame and the Asia time frame, right? So, or range, right? So, that's why. Um, but my theory for it to crash tomorrow is the fact that we have right now we're sitting at about 750 on the SPY SPY, right? And it's been bearish the whole day. If you look at it, let's see if I can pull it up here somewhere. Come on, let's go. There you go. Okay. So yeah, it's been bearish the whole day. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my computer. Sorry, guys. I think my wires too close to each other. But okay, so it's been bearish the whole day, right? And the reason I was able to get so much in the beginning, I should just hang, stay there, right? The thing is, I'm trying to learn about these movements, right? Whether or not I can move with it every day, every single moment, right? And I did that. I did like throughout the whole day. I was just moving with it, right? The problem is, I was playing catch up. And when you play catch up, I started losing, right? But in the beginning, I caught everything good, like literally, like I was up there. It went all the way halfway through, probably right down here, right? Let me draw my line. So yeah, I was up here, right? And I got to like about here. I made like $40, and then somewhere along the line, when it went from here to here, actually, yeah, it started just going bad. And the reason why is because I'm taking different positions, right? I'm taking long shorts, long shorts, long shorts, right? Depending on whether or not I see reversal or not, right? So for a little bit, it was trying to reverse, like around right here, and then I failed. I failed at it, right? And you look at that accumulation distribution chart here, indicator, and it gave us somewhat of the same thing. No, quite not really quite a reversal scenario, right? And I can't even see any like convergence or divergence, right? Except for towards the end right here, maybe a little bit, right? But even then, it just uh, shot down with it. You know what I mean? So like maybe right here, it's trying to converge, right? So like they're trying to go like opposing like this. You know what I mean? um, trying to create a wedge between this and this, and you're seeing it, this slight wedge, right? But we wanted to start moving up. If the accumulation distribution scenario start moving up, then yeah, we're golden for a good scenario. But yeah, so okay, the reason why is it's already doing the prediction I was trying to do, right? So there's a massive people holding contracts right here around the 750, right? And then there's a massive amount of people holding contracts at the 745 area, right? So that's why my contracts um is gonna reflect the 745 area. And then after that, I was trying to get to go back up. So, but since I got it at such a discount, right? So as it moved towards 745, towards 747, I should be able to, in the morning, I should be able to see a pretty good discount. I mean, not discount, but a good return, right? And maybe, like I'll just cut off at 747 or maybe 746 if it ever gets there again, right? So right there is pretty close to 747. So overnight, I'm hoping that all of 750 gets swept, right? But the problem is, or is there a problem? Is there a problem? No, I think contracts are contracts, right? I mean, if you buy contracts on the regular day time, then you wouldn't be. But you know what? I don't know. I don't know when people are buying contracts, right? So they could be buying on futures, but everything's all laid out together, right? So we don't know what the general rule of how they stack the contracts. I mean, if they separate it, future markets get their own contracts, right? And then I doubt it. I doubt they do that, right? I'm thinking it's all stacked together, right? And so if they sweep all the contracts on the 750, then we're moving at the 745. They're gonna sweep all those contracts, right? So that's the reason why I got here. Pretty much, um, yeah, I should be able to gain like at least 40 bucks at most. Probably, let's see how much I bought my contract for. No, I bought my contract for like $28, right? So potentially, I will make $72 if it gets all the way to 745 or below that. Um, but yeah, but the interesting thing is if it gets towards 745, we'll see more contracts to be exposed to the world, right? But now we're only able to see up to a certain point. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing for tomorrow. I'm trying to see if I can swing that direction since we are bearish for a good moment here. And with all the geopolitical stuff going on, hopefully, you know what I mean, like people work in fear. You know what I mean? Well, for my sake, anyway. That's sad. But anyways, um, after hours looking good, guys. We're going down. So it jumped back up to 750 really fast, right? Right at the end of the market, right? And I was kind of wanting it to see that happen actually tomorrow, and then works its way back down. But apparently, we have a 24-hour market, right, including futures and and regular day trade hours. So yeah, so we're golden for tomorrow. I did I was able to, what do you call it? I was able to get, so I was able to come out positive, right? So yesterday I was at like 740, no, 147 total, my whole thing, right? And I got about 2 shares of this, which is good. Um, I, I accumulated more or acquired more shares, right? Or point something share. Um, which that's what I'm trying to do, right? So I'm not trying to use my whole bank just to trade. So I'm trying to make sure, like, since my account's really small, right? Um, yeah. So I'm around like 754 or no 154 right now. Early in the beginning of the day I was at 140, like 147, 146, right? So I was only $7 up, but now I'm down. So I'm probably like around 150. But I have 2 shares of this, so technically I'm probably um in my equity I'm at like one around 120, probably 115, 113 or something like that. So yeah, so I'm not breaking bank, guys. I'm not breaking bank. It's called investment. Um, yeah. What else? What else we got going on today? That's about it. Yeah. So technically, or what I've been using the whole time that got me really good results. Okay, let's see. In the beginning, anyways, was the the VWAP, right? So uh what a VWAP is, um, let's see what it's called. Let's see what it's called. What's a VWAP? Technically, you don't really have to understand anything. Just gotta know what it does. If you want to be technical about it, right? Or how you should respond to it when it touches that. So the VWAP, and it doesn't say. Let me chat GPT this. Okay, hold on, guys. Chat GPT. All right, let's see what chat GPT says. What does VWAP stand for in trading?
Let me check. VWAP is volume weighted average price. It shows the average price a stock traded at throughout the day, factoring in volume. Traders use it to gauge whether they're getting a relatively good price. Above VWAP can signal strength, below can signal weakness. It's commonly used on 1 minute charts to judge intraday trends.
All right, there you go, guys. It's a weighted uh, average price based on volume. Okay, so and that, I mean, for you to become a good trader, right? A lot of people, they're just like, okay, join the team, and what does the team show you? They show you how to trade, right? There's a inner circle, ICT, inner circle trading team, right? Well, what do they teach? You know what I mean? Um, they teach you how to look for certain um, things on the charts, right? And then you take profit based on, or you start trading or enter position, and then you do your risk reward or risk and take profit um, scenarios based off of that, right? Um, But what people fail to realize, I think, I'm not sure, right? I'm not sure if the masters, what I mean, in those groups actually, you know, follow um kind of the movements and the way the behavior is of the market, right? Or like, do they understand what's going on behind the scenes for them to make a really good educated guess? Because like all these indicators have definitions and definition on the reason why we look at certain things on the charts, right? So if you look at the VWAP is volume weighted average something. Average potential, probably profile. I don't know. Average. Okay, okay, I still have it here. Volume weighted average price. Okay, it's the average price, right? So it's moving towards the price. Um, yes, yes. So let me adjust this real quick. What's there? Okay, come on, bro. Okay, average price. Okay, so here's the problem with because I get worried about certain things, right? So here's the problem with what I'm doing, right? With my contract here. Problem is, if all this things that I'm trying to predict happens overnight, um, depending on what happens tomorrow, right? Let's say everything gets swept overnight, right? Then tomorrow it's gonna start something new. Maybe it'll go move towards a top position, towards start sweeping some contract. Alright, give me a second. Well, no, they're not here. I'll just take one. Either one. Yeah, no, no. Oh no, no, I'm good. Thank you. Have a good day. Yo, I'm actually live on 3 platforms right now, guys. 3 platforms. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and I'm eating a donut. Got it from my neighbor. All right, so yeah, hopefully all that happens don't happen overnight. Right, I need it to happen tomorrow. We got to be out of the money by tomorrow, guys. Okay, yeah. So the reason why I'm getting um, okay, so it's taking me a long time to understand this whole thing, right? And my whole goal is a long time. I'm talking about a long time. I'm talking about for years, right? Because What we do is we trade. We don't know why things happen, right? And I believe the people that are good investors, they understand exactly what's going on in the market. Like they understand the way money moves. This is what's going on. Money is moving around the globe, right? And the reason why, you know, these these people, that is wealthy in society, right? It's because they understand how the money moves. You know what I mean? Plainly put. You know what I mean? Like, and for a long time, for me especially, right? Since I got into it like probably 2012, 2013, right? I was just like everybody else. You know what I mean? Like meme stop. What's going on? Robinhood just became an app somewhere, right? And then all of a sudden, um, who's that one guy? Whatever his name is. I think his username was like something rabbit or something like that, right? Like he crashed the whole market as a retail investor, right? With GameStop. You know what I mean? Like literally one man. You know what I mean? Other than the housing market, where that one guy, you know, the movie was called The Big Short. If you guys were to go, his name was Michael something, right? Um, Michael Burry or something. He shorted the whole market too, right? But he shorted the housing market because, but the way he did it, he didn't do it like how the other guy did it, right? The other guy just had a bunch of contracts on, on his broker account, right? This guy went to the bank, the guy that crashed the housing market, and then he was like, "Hey, I want to short, I want to short the housing market. I need you to, like create the contract for it." You know what I mean? Like, and so no one wanted to do it, and then he eventually got people to do it. Or I think I don't know how it went down, but like, yeah. And then, that's what happened. Okay, so I'm just testing it out. I don't know. It may or may not work, but I'm only risking $28 to do it. So if I wake up tomorrow and I lose my $28, then my theory was a failure. But if I don't lose $20, oh yeah, we got interesting neighbors. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, I took a bunch of positions today. Yeah, I took a bunch of positions today. Um, Various positions. I mean, the only thing you do is buy in or buy or sell, right? Go long or go short. Long or short. That's the only thing you can do, right? As long as you're choosing the right contracts, you're gonna make money, regardless. Don't you know what I mean? Like all the contracts I take, it's, I mean, I took about like probably like 10 contracts for me to like go from 40 to like, you know, $7. Right? And unfortunately, I didn't get penalized because they took out that the restriction, right? Where you get penalized for day trading if you have less than, you know, I think $25,000 as a regular retail trader um, under a brokerage account. But so literally, I start off with, you know, I could start off with $20, right? Because I if I find a discount contract that's worth $20, that's it. You know what I mean? That's low risk, right? Um, but see, but the thing is, like most people can't find the way into it to where they would succeed with $20, right? Because they wouldn't understand what contracts to buy, and I think that's the issue, right? Because you know you base everything on luck, it doesn't work. Okay, so let's go to the weighted um volume weighted average price movement. Okay, so basically it's the three lines. Let me see if I can hide some of these lines. All right, let's hide all my drawings. Boom, hide. We're gonna hide the EMA. We're gonna hide the SMA, liquid volume. All right, I think that's good enough. Right. So this is right there. So the green line right there. I mean the okay, the line in the middle. Right, okay, the blue line in the middle between the two purple lines. That's your, this is your okay. So right here, this line in the middle right here, that line right there. That's your that's your VWAP. Um. Okay. So that blue line right there, that's your VWAP. And let me turn everything back off and take off my market. And then the purple line, right? And the whole thing's kind of tinted too. So like when you're in that zone, this is the whole thing's kind of tinted purple. But yeah, and then there's standard deviation of it, right? So if you look at the day chart, so the day chart, boom, 1 minute, zoom in, huh? And then let's go to the beginning of the day. You can adjust the standard deviation. The purple lines you can expand it or whatnot, right? But it was good indicator. So it started off like this, right? Start off the beginning of the day. Crap, I gotta fix that sound. Okay, so the beginning of the day. I'm just gonna move my options thing there. I mean, nothing should be moving around because we got bugs and critters and stuff that's touching my wires. All right, so this is like So this is like pre market, right? 5 o'clock, whatever. 6:30 comes around, right? And then whoever's theory it was to say, oh, it's gonna be bullish. If you look at the 6:30 candle, and then if the candle below that is a green, then this one went above it, then we're gonna have a bullish thing going on, right? So the bull, if you gotta follow that, right, immediately it crashed. Right? So you already failed in life after you follow that rule, right? Someone made videos on it. Immediate crash. So you out. If you playing single leg contract, you out $100. You know what I mean? And then you go, and then if you were able to catch something over here, okay, let's say you hang on to your contract, right? Okay, you went up here, you made a few bucks, right? Thing is, it's not a bullish day, right? And that's what people don't understand. Like, why are you like? So ICT would call this like some sort of inverse. Oh, right here. Um, yeah, some sort of like FBG right here, right? And then they would probably confirm right here, and then they would try to take profit up here, right? And then you have your um, see what the thing. This thing's so small, right? This thing's so small, right? So your stop loss is like a little bit. You know what I mean? Which is good. That's a good thing, right? Because they'll cut it out right away. But most people, that when they see that stop loss, right, they're just like, oh, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. So they open up the stop loss like down to here or something, right? Depending on what other patterns they got, graphs they got going on, they'll just match it to some sort of price line or something. We'll just go take it down to this price line because it's not gonna go below that price line. Never, never, right? And then they'll try to take profit or something, right? Right where the top of that the 630 is. So that's your range, right? So you got this much. You know what I mean? But if you already fell down here, and you wait for it to come back that much, you're not gonna see anything. But all that time decay from here to here already happened. Too much things going on, guys. Too much things going on. Okay. So yeah, we're good. We're good. Look at this. 7:49. It was at 7:50. After hours dropping. Yeah. So I mean, if you had a so yeah, this is a whole day today, right? You go up here, right? It never went back to the top. You know what I mean? So I caught everything. Literally, I caught everything. I was trying to go back and forth with it. I was trying to get more and more and more and more and more. But then the thing is, every time it reversed, I couldn't. My contract would do the opposite, right? I knew it was bearish the whole time because I had this line. Well, I didn't have the line then, but I caught it at the top, and I made good money until like probably around here. So yeah, I mean, if you look at the bigger time frame, right? And this you really can't tell either. Like people say, okay, well you look at the bigger time frame to determine whether or not how it's moving in a holistic type of way. And then distinctly, go to intraday trading, which is the daily trading, right? And then like 1 minute, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, or whatever, right? And then you're able to see how the market's affected. You know what I mean? Like overall, it has a bearish sentiment, right? As I always say, bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish. But you look at the big picture. Technically, it's rallying, right? Because it's sideways. But within the days, right, you do have a, a strong um, movement going upward, and it's trying to get to the all-time highs again, right? Which is about 760. So we're pretty close to there. But the problem is during the intraday, which is your daily trades, trading scenarios, where yeah, we're involved in a com- almost like instant by instant scenario. You know what I mean? It's almost like you know, all these people get mad when the commissioner says something that's out of pocket, and you're just like, man, why you gotta say that for? You know what I mean? Like everything was going so good, you know. So basically, what I did was I kind of followed the the um the VWAP majority of the day through. So I can pull back. Okay, let's look at the day chart. Look at this day chart right here. Yeah. So when it went, okay, so right there, it crashed after it hit the top of the VWAP, right? And then it went to the bottom of the VWAP, right? And then so from here to here, literally, I probably this is where I made my 40, very short distance, right? It was like literally like 2 hours after the market opened, and then from here to here, I started looking for reversals, right? And the thing is, this thing was going sideways right here, and then it was going sideways right here, and then I should have known because you know, like this thing, the accumulation distribution indicator had no sudden change, right? No sudden change until what I mean. I what I should have done was I should have just um bought all my shorts. But the thing is, when it has no sudden change like this, it kind of just takes a very long time staying in the same price line, right? So then you're just like, it's not even moving one unit value, like $1 value, right? So you're just like, dang, dude, I'm not really seeing any significant difference. All I'm seeing is like, if there's no significant difference, right? The thing is, time decay will ruin your gains, right? So I kept seeing that my profit was shrinking, right? So then it was back and forth. I was playing this back and forth game, which I probably should never had, right? What I should have done is probably would have just if I would have kept my whole load, the first contract after all this right here, I would have got the whole thing. I would have got the whole thing, right? And the whole thing was like I don't know what the discount was. It's probably pretty good. The because I was working off of yesterday's kind of like synergy, right? Where I was like, I'm getting a lot of discounted contract, right? So I think my first contract was a really good contract, right? Because I was discounted, I was in the right direction, and then I was able to already lock it in for one, right? But I ejected myself right here. I think two different contracts. I ejected myself right here. Again, about $48, right? And then, but from here to here, the last like 2/3, the last 2/3, um, I kind of just did a bunch of little stuff here and there, and I slowly started decreasing. But I was still able to hang on to about $8, $7, $8 of my profit, right? So, which if I had 48, I lost about 40 of my profit, right? But I was still up for $8. So, which is good, right? I took that as a green day, but then I took my last contract, right, to hang overnight based on my theory, and I'm down because it pumped up, right? My theory is for it to go down even more. Okay, so here's a discounted contract, right? It's a long position. No, wait, it's a short position, but the short position is at 7:55. I mean 7:30, 7:45. So technically, it needs to crash about $5 overnight, which um, hopefully it does. Um, yeah, I think that's a good like 1-2% or something like that. Maybe 1%, 2%. If you think about it, right? In the like in the thousands, right? 1% of a thousand is like um, $10. Yeah, 1% of a thousand is $10. So probably a little bit over because we're under $1,000 because the value of the SPY is like 150 or 750 right now, so like 30% or 25% under. Wait, 25%? Yeah, 25% under. So we're looking at a fourth of a fourth of um, so 1% that's 10%, and then plus an X, so a fourth, 10%, 25, 2%. Oh yeah. I'm trying to figure out what $5, $5 units and $5, right? So 25% is $25. No, 1%, 100% of 750. That's so $5 of 750. Yeah, 1%. 7.5 is 1%, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay, that's right. So it's a little bit under 1%. So it'd be like point zero 0.07 or something. Point zero 0.07. No, point 0.7. 7.7. 0.7%. $5. So we need to crash 0.7%, guys, which is more than today's. Oh, on my end. This is on my end. 0.7%. Yeah. So like, see how here, 0.6 is about 0.7%. I could just look up here. This is about $5 right here. 0.7%. I did all that in my head, guys. Do I have a big head? No, I don't know. Anyways, whatever. But anyway, so yeah. Um. Okay, so so I was just every time I hit the VWAP, I was trying to get in, or so this is like the standard deviation of the VWAP, right? So the VWAP's right here, right? So especially it was right here, right? Every time I hit the VWAP, I was like, oh, it's crashing, boom, I got in. I tried to get it, got it over here. I was like, nah, I might go over. So then I pulled out, and then I got back in over here, right? And then I think I pulled out, got me some gains from my crash. I think I crashed somewhere right here, right? And then um yeah, got back, got some gains back, you know, because I did crash all the way down right here to the bottom. You see that bottom right here, and then I gained back up. I should have just kept my earnings that was right here, right there. I probably made about 18%. That's a good like 15 to $20 back, right? And then I, I cut out like right here, like there. No, it was like lower than that. Yeah, like 8% or something like that. And then I got to my contract, and then this is what's happening right now. But yeah, I mean, so all these indicators does something, and it's very helpful to me, right? Or to people that like to read the charts and whatnot. It really, you know, has the and the thing is, it's free. You don't have to create these indicators. You know what I mean? Nowadays, people are creating their own indicators with AI, and like it's designed, you know, to specification, right, on however they want to keep track of their thing, um, the movement. But um, based on their logic. So I think a lot of these things are time tested. So you know what I mean. For me, I'm just gonna use the original. And I think when you reflect on how things work and how things people move and how this thing moves to to take out positions, people positions, then you begin to understand where you need to be along the price line. You know what I mean? And then like, all right, I gotta adjust this. And then after that, you'll be able to kind of know what you're doing, right? At the least, you have to at least know something. You know what I mean? You can't go in there blind. You know what I mean? And pretty much, you know, um, yeah. So yesterday, the good thing about today is, this is where I'm gaining, right? My equity on my ETF contract. I mean, security, um, JEPI, right? I'm accumulating this ETF is is 2 point something shares, right? So yesterday I was at 1.6. So I was able to buy more of this, right? I was able to gain positive on my overall thing, and I'm growing my account. You know what I mean? So today was not a bad day. It could have been worse, but we're able to see the positive in what we did today. But yeah. Other than that, I have nothing else today. Tomorrow, prepare for something. major, I'll be looking forward to my overnight contract here, and hopefully, if it. So okay, so the reason why I'm trying this out is because if this is correct, right? Because when you do swing trading, you have to make a lot of assumptions all the time, right? It's called speculative trading. You know what I mean? You're trading based on the events of the future, and you have to guess what those events are, right? And I made a decisive choice to take on this contract. Mental note myself, I don't like to swing trade anymore, just because then I have an opportunity to do daily trading now without having a big account. But um, so I'm only doing it to test out my theory. My theory is tomorrow they're gonna take out all the contracts at around the 745 area on the price line of the spot. So if that's the case study of that experiment is true, then we should wake up tomorrow with some some gains, right? But if it's not true, I'm expected to lose $28. You know what I mean? Or whatever I can pull out tomorrow in the morning, right? Because if I hang on to something that's out of the money, halfway through the day, might as well just give it all to them. You know what I mean? Maybe save a couple bucks, but um, but if that's not the case, then and my predicted scenario was true, then I should be able to wake up, right? But if tomorrow's true and my contract still expires to a net loss, then I'm something's wrong because I'm reading the contract wrong. Maybe the delta or the theta on the variable um, did something to the contract to where I couldn't foresee the fastness of how it moved overnight. You know what I mean? Because I'm not in range, right? When you're not in range, the data. Okay, what just let me ask ChatGPT. I'll just make sure we have a good understanding real quick of what Greek symbol to determine the decay. What is the Greek symbol in stock trading to determine time decay?
Looking that up now. Do you mean Doji? That's a candlestick pattern where the open and close prices are almost the same, signaling indecision and sometimes
Stop.
a reversal. If that wasn't it, can
Stop.
you spell the
Yes.
term for me?
Okay. So I wanted to know in options contract trading whether which Greek symbol symbolizes time decay.
Checking. In options trading, time decay is theta.
Theta.
The
Okay.
rate
Thank you.
of theta.
Yeah. So theta. So if theta did something to my contract and um overnight, but the market still crashed to 745, then I assumed the way theta works is wrong. You know what I mean? Um, because it might have, let's say, it might have I would assume theta would increase, right? I don't want to ask ChatGPT again. Yeah, it might have changed drastically versus not change at all, right? Because I'm assuming if I'm in the money, theta doesn't really change. Actually, it does change if I'm out of range, right? So I have to be within range and in the money. Yeah. and within range is usually like within a dollar value. That's within range. You know what I mean? So yeah, but if it gets closer, but not close enough. See, that's the issue too, right? So I'm just hoping it will go closer, and my data it still has some strength to keep me positive, right? That's why I'm gonna cut it as soon as I wake up tomorrow. We'll see what happens. But anything above 740 or 750, that's when I think that's when I bought it, right? 749 maybe ish. I'm expecting to lose um that $28 waking up tomorrow morning. So it needs to at least go down 748 for me to have a good test. And then 747 even better, 746 even better, and then 745 is the best. And then 744, it's the ultimate TP, take profit. You know what I mean? So that's what we're aiming towards, guys. Anyways, I think that's my time for today. I promised to get on, and I did, and that's all I can um, produce for you guys. Um, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment. Probably um, or any theories, you know what I mean? Um, let me know too, and I'll try to engage. I'm not sure if I like um, public scrutiny, but anyways, all right. Thanks for joining me, guys, on Daily Trades by Rin. Today is 7/16/2026. Have a good day, y'all. Peace. Okay, now I gotta chop this stuff up and post it. All right. Bye, guys. Peace.